Hey guys, I'm working on a huge video project at the moment. It's taking a long time, so I thought I'd make smaller videos in the meantime. And these smaller videos are now taking a lot of time as well. But I hope you can appreciate the quality. Basically, I thought, I've been playing lots of old games recently. I really enjoy, stuff from the Nintendo Entertainment System. I had to think, thinking about all those retro bosses, I thought maybe, there's some Nintendo games from my youth, or maybe not even from my youth, but from playing later in life, that I think don't get the attention they deserve, and that's basically what this video is about. So, basically, what I'm calling a gem is a game that I think deserves more attention than it actually got. That's basically it. That's my less than a minute long intro. I'm gonna leave the rest of this video up to you to love and enjoy, and I hope you enjoy it as much as I enjoyed putting it together. Thank you very much.
Number 5. Magical Dorothy, Cryon Conquest. If you took Mega Man and planted a witch in the leading role, you'd have Magical Dorothy. It's a Famicom game that later saw a release outside of Japan under the name Cryon Conquest. Either is fine, but Magical Dorothy does have cutscenes. The game itself is pretty much a cookie-cutter Mega Man clone, however there are differences in the way you use weapons and the general flow of the game. It seems to be taking the best parts of Mega Man and tweaking them in just the right way to avoid a lawsuit. As you play, you'll have to start figuring out the most effective way to take out enemies, and that can actually be enjoyable. It took me a while to figure out how to use the broom. You're supposed to fly on it, not use it as a stepping stone. There's a translation online for Magical Dorothy, which turns the dialogue from cutscenes into completely legible English. This is the ideal way to play Dorothy. If you have to make do with Cryon Conquest, you've got the same great gameplay, you're just not going to have anything substantial in the way of story content. The loose cartridge of Cryon Conquest won't set you back too much, but I'd recommend playing it first to see if it's something you'd want to shell out for. Number 4. Felix the Cat. Felix the Cat isn't around much anymore. Does anybody remember him? Equipped with his famous magic bag of tricks, you'll be traversing worlds while transforming into a magician, a car, and a tank, even a hot air balloon. It's kind of like Super Mario in that you get abilities, and they also act as extra hits you can take before you lose a life. The controls are really responsive and fun, actively channeling that Sonic the Hedgehog and Super Mario vibe, but integrating part of its own self into the mix. I like how the clouds in the background are animated. While Felix does get stale after a while, this is where to go if you like a decent platformer. There are many mascot platformers from this time, but I honestly feel that Felix stands out against most of them. Oh, it isn't cheap. Being rare, you're looking at about 50 quid for a tested unboxed card. It's a damn good game, but maybe not worth all that. Make sure you play it first before you even consider making the commitment. Number 3. Shatterhand, Toku Shirai Solubre. Shatterhand sees you play as a police officer who's brought back from near death and fitted with a cyborg arm to deliver justice on those that defeated you. It's a traditional combat platformer with an added quirk, these little robot satellites that follow you around. They can be obtained by collecting particular power-ups. They can also be used strategically to take hits for you, and each has their own attack with its special pattern. But it gets cooler. If you keep your satellite active and collect the same string of power-ups again, you get equipped with a powerful suit that does incredible damage to enemies and bosses. You can even use some satellites as jets, allowing you to get to hard-to-reach places. The original Japanese version, Toku Shirai Solubre, is based on a live-action TV show. The show is awesome. The first person who tells me where I can watch it with English subtitles will be reimbursed somehow. I'll think of something. One of the levels was replaced in Shatterhand. The original Japanese stage is set at an abandoned theme park. The stage itself is pretty cool, so I'm not really sure why it was taken out. The boss battle is against these two ladies, but with the right kind of satellite you can win without giving them much chance to fight back. Maybe they thought it was too easy and switched the level out for a harder one. I don't really know. Or maybe they didn't want kids going to the fairground and punching other kids. Or women. Both versions of the game are as good as each other, worth tracking down and playing through until the end. The NES version is the cheapest cartridge so far, and totally worth the cost outright. Number 2. Quattro Adventure Super Adventure Quests. This oddly shaped and awkward cartridge contains 4 Nintendo Hard Codemasters classics: Treasure Island Dizzy, Boomerang Kid, Linus Spacehead, and Super Robin Hood. 4 games for the price of 1? Let's have a quick look at all 4 and see what we've got on here. Treasure Island Dizzy is very, very difficult. It's a game of trial and error, with a minuscule inventory system and a lot of backtracking, and by a lot, I mean a lot. The most annoying thing is that you die in one hit, no life bar or anything convenient like that. Wow, I'm really selling it to you. But there's a great sense of exploration, and that's kind of exciting. You've got to wonder how Dizzy ended up on this island, seeing as he drowns the instant he touches water without a snorkel. This coin is almost directly below the trap. Hey, it's literally a beginner's trap! I really hated how once I got underwater I could never work out where to go next. I get the feeling that one of these days I'll take this game apart piece by piece and figure it out, or just watch someone play through the whole game so I don't have to. Secondly, there's Boomerang Kid, a game where you're jumping over crocodiles and kangaroos while trying to fight your way through the Australian outback. What's an effing kangaroo doing here? Oi, mate, move it! I hate how falling from a great height kills you. I mean, it's realistic, but really, from this distance? Would that really kill you? Probably not. Break your legs, maybe. I hope you like being subjected to waltzing Matilda in 8 glorious bits. This music doesn't change until you get to the castle, but I'm not feeling masochistic enough to play that far just to get footage. You can get there faster using the level warps, such as this one, but it's really long and arduous anyway. There is nothing wrong with a good challenge though, and if you feel up to it, you better play the game yourself. Struth! It's a bloomin' crocodile! So far, we're 2 games in, and we've 2 recommendations. Does this cartridge really pack 4 worthwhile games? Linus Spacehead, the main character from Cosmic Spacehead, stars in a platformer sharing his name where you'll be jumping on bubbles and getting crushed by irritating coconuts in the first 5 minutes. Life's a beach? More like this game's a bitch. Each coconut falls at a completely different speed, in a completely different arc, and they drop at really annoying times too. I could never get past this stage without cheating, which is all the more reason why you totally need to experience this yourself. I like how the music is effectively the same tune, but it evolves over each stage. I also like how your sprite just tips upside down when you die. It adds insult to injury, but it's still cool. Just don't jump into this expecting an adventure game like the proper Cosmic Spacehead. Last and best of all is Super Robin Hood, a nails-hard treasure hunting game. How nails-hard? You only have 3 lives. You have to start over if you get a game over. And the princess doesn't want to be rescued until you've got I like how the enemy's clothes change colour to symbolise how many hits are required before they perish. Only in classic video games would this be acceptable. Quattro Adventure is absolutely worth tracking down, despite the extreme difficulty level. Super Robin Hood and Boomerang Kid can actually be pretty addicting and could easily stand alone as separate games. All of them require serious memorization though. The cartridge itself isn't too expensive, not worth spending a lot on, so give it a play first and see what you think. Number 1. Gimmick, Mr. Gimmick. One of the last games released for the Nintendo Entertainment System, and its absolute last hurrah. Outstanding music and unbelievable visuals are married along with incredible physics and flawless control.
They just don't make them like this anymore.
It is rare to be able to say that a game from 1993 has its own physics engine. And it's even harder to pick any game for Nintendo's first gaming console more deserving of the top spot than this one. I don't think I can really do this game justice in terms of, well, you know, saying what it's like and what it has going for it. I'm finding it hard to really describe the game due to almost entirely the state that it left my brain in after playing it. What is it called? Oh yeah, speechlessness. So I'll give you some examples. Firstly, the story is told entirely through still images. There is no text on screen because there doesn't need to be. The game begins and I'm struck by the beautiful graphics. From start right until finish, there's this interesting star throwing mechanic. It runs on its own physics behaviour. You can use it as a platform to get to higher places, which is awesome! You can even ride it around! There are these super secret hidden collectibles. Getting them all and playing through the game without a game over lets you fight the final boss. I've never played well enough to get there, but I like that the option is there for the ruthless and serious hardcore gamers. See how hidden this one is? You have to knock a cannon down and then step onto the cannonball at the right time. Crazy! I find this boss the hardest so far. It's kind of embarrassing that he's only the second boss of the game. In fact, the only time I've ever beaten him legitimately was when I also died, so it didn't count. I got the points, but it didn't count as beating him. There are some parts of this game that just wow me. Early on, you can push a turret into a spike pit. You get bonus points for it, meaning the developers intended for you to do that. How cool is that? There's a part later on where you're assaulted by cannonballs as you sail past a boat. Just where are they coming from? Once you're inside the boat, you can see the enemies carrying the cannonballs. They're the critters that hit you earlier, so now you can really wail on their sorry asses. There's this bit here. You walk to the right and you just get a nice, pleasant scene with seagulls. This screen needn't be here. The fact it is, though, is pretty awesome. The game itself is filled with little details like this, so enough of my talking. Go hunt it down yourself. Actually, don't. It's so expensive because it's so rare. So here's your homework. Track down and play these 5 incredible games. Let me know what you thought of these games in the comments section, and I'll see you when I see you next with a list of 5 great Master System and Game Gear games you can't live without. Until then, if we live that long.